Brock Lesnar is back, and the WWE is hoping that we've forgotten why he was gone in the first place. But his return is also a reminder that while WWE claims it's in a new era, some things, unfortunately, haven't changed. This is a heavy topic with a lot of layers, so let's break it all down. The word complicated sure has come up in the world of professional wrestling an awful lot lately as we continue to deal with Hulk Hogan's passing away and now this as well. There's been a lot that has been complicated over the last little bit. Now, should have said this off the top, but before we dive too much further into this, a trigger warning off the top that this is a subject that deals with a lawsuit that is involving sexual assault, sexual misconduct, and human trafficking. And so if that is a trigger for you, this is going to cover a lot of those things. So just everyone, please be aware of that. But obviously, this is, once again, a fan base divided. And, we talked about it on the Hulk Hogan side of all of this. I made it pretty clear that I was in the, why can't you just let me love you sort of a camp, I guess. That he didn't do enough to take accountability for his obviously hurtful actions. And if he would have, then I think a lot of people would have forgotten it, or forgiven it rightly or wrongly. With Brock Lesnar, I am in the please just go away camp. I wasn't expecting to see him come out, even for a second. I was not expecting that. And my initial reaction was a groan and an eye roll, and then it got worse from there. And there are so many reasons for all of that. And now let's start with the legalities of everything that is happening right now. For a recap, Alan underscore cheap shots on X has posted some of the main complaints, I guess, or main times that Brock Lesnar was brought up in the lawsuit that has been brought against Vince McMahon and the WWE by Janel Grant. Grant alleges that Vince McMahon used her to help sign a top star later confirmed as Brock Lesnar. She says that she was, quote, offered to him as part of the deal. This began this began what she describes as a pattern of coercion involving her body and Lesnar's contract talks. Grant says that McMahon told her to send explicit photos and videos to Lesnar. After she did, Vince allegedly showed her a reply from Brock, quote, he likes what he sees. She says these instructions weren't optional and that they were a part of her role as assigned by Vince McMahon. In July 2021, Grant says Vince flew Lesnar in to meet her, but the dinner went badly. Lesnar allegedly got too drunk. After he was flown home, Vince allegedly forced Grant into violent sex role-playing as Lesnar. She says this was not the first time. In December of 2021, Grant alleges that Vince gave Lesnar her phone number. Brock allegedly requested a video of her urinating. She says she complied. His response, if you didn't do it, I'd have lost interest. He also allegedly called her a bitch by text. Lesnar allegedly proposed a, quote, play date, a physical meetup. Grant agreed and then canceled due to COVID happening at the time and weather. She says that this was her chance to walk away before anything physical happened, but claims the pressure had already done harm. Grant says that she was used as, quote, a pawn to secure talent deals. Vince allegedly ordered her to perform sexual acts for corporate goals. With Lesnar, that allegedly meant videos, sexting, and being offered as part of a WWE contract negotiation. Lesnar, to be clear, has not been charged with any crime. He is not a defendant, but the lawsuit names him again 44 times. And he allegedly received explicit content, made degrading demands, and engaged in sexual dialogue with a woman that his boss had total control over. So, no, I don't think we just need to move on and let this guy come back into professional wrestling and into this company and into the public spotlight. This kind of power dynamic and alleged coercion described is something that really doesn't represent the environment that I want to support or be around in any way. And the fact that they are doing this while the investigation is still actively ongoing and there's still the lawsuit happening is just absolutely insane to me and incredibly disappointing. To allow someone back on your program who is repeatedly mentioned in serious allegations like these, which has constantly suggested that, bouncing between my notes here on this one, apologies. But like this just, again, it doesn't support any, or doesn't really show anything that I want to support in any way, shape, or form. And so again, to allow someone like this back on your program after you have repeatedly said that, oh, we've learned from this, it's different, that those problems left out the door when Vince McMahon left, but we're going to bring this guy back on television. It really does show that they haven't learned anything from this entire situation, and they really were just hoping that people would just forget and enough time would pass. And before, because I know what the counterpoints are for a lot of people, before you say the innocent before proven guilty thing, that has no standard here. That has no standing here. That is implemented so that the government can't just lock people up because they think, throwing out a random example here, they might be part of a gang because of their background. It is there to protect people from the government and to provide them with due process. It doesn't have one thing to do with a person's employment. Employment, especially employment with a company like WWE, is a privilege, not a right. If employment was a right, then a lot of things would look very different around the world. The fact is, the WWE is well within their rights to not use Brock Lesnar. They are well within their rights to suspend Brock Lesnar, and they would be well within their rights to have fired Brock Lesnar based solely on the allegations. That's it. If a company does deem that you are doing reputational harm to them, especially as a publicly traded company, they can cut ties with you pretty quickly. So the innocent until proven guilty thing, that applies in a court of law. But in terms of, does he just not deserve an opportunity to have a job? I mean, look, get a job. It just doesn't have to be this one. Being in WWE and being a television performer and everything like that, that's not a right at all. That is a privilege, and it is one that you can get back, but it is not one that I think that he has done anything to earn back in any stretch of the imagination. For the record, Janel Grant's team has released a statement. For far too long, abuse was allowed to thrive under WWE's leadership. Instead of righting this wrong, WWE has done nothing to ensure those responsible are held accountable. This attempt to sweep misconduct under the rug will backfire. We look forward to the full set of facts, including those about Mr. Lesnar, coming out in a court of law where they belong. But in the meantime, we refer you back to Janel Grant's updated complaint, which outlines in detail the abuse she endured by McMahon and others while employed at WWE. And so from a wrestling fan standpoint, and just from my standpoint, I guess I shouldn't speak for everyone, but all I want is just let the process of this thing play out. And don't bring in someone who is alleged to have done these things. If the court proceedings make it clear that Brock Lesnar is misrepresented or uninvolved, then hit his music the next day. That, by all means, go for it. If all the people who are innocent until proven guilty, due process, blah 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 blah, if all those people get their due process, and Brock Lesnar is cleared of every bit of alleged wrongdoing, then yeah, hit that guitar riff, let his self walk right down that aisle and do that. But if even one part of the allegations against him in this are true, then I don't think he should be anywhere near a television camera ever again. But we don't let to have any of these things play out. We don't have any type of a statement from Lesnar or anything. Literally, the only thing that has changed from the day the WWE stopped using him until the exact moment that, again, his music hit and he came down, got a little bit tired walking to the ring and hit John Cena with one move and then left. The only thing that has changed is the date on the calendar, which highlights again that it's not accountability, but it's sweeping under the rug, as was said in the statements there from Janel Grant's representatives. So yes, I hate this. I hate every bit of Brock Lesnar coming back in this type of a situation when you have these type of allegations out there, when everything is ongoing. Again, if you want to let due process play out and it shows that Brock Lesnar is not involved in the ways that are alleged, then cool. But we don't have that. We have literally nothing has changed that would make Brock Lesnar now usable compared to where he was before. And I guess they did kind of set some of this up with some of the coded language where, yeah, Brock's just being Brock. He's not, he hasn't changed one thing about what he's doing. It's just Brock being Brock. That's all it is. They never once used the term suspended or anything like that. So they can technically, I mean, they can do whatever they want. He's an independent contractor, but they don't have to lift a suspension or anything. It is just, hey, now we are using him again. So it all just feels gross. And it didn't give me oh my God, Brock Lesnar's back. It's like, oh, really? Like, we're not asking for a lot. We don't need to have a super in-depth background check or anything like that to have you be a performer on the television. We just literally want to make sure that you didn't do what you were alleged of doing, and then we'll be good. That's fine. Let the process play out, and that's it. So again, from like a legal, moral, ethical thing, I absolutely hated it. Not that it should matter, but from a purely wrestling standpoint, they didn't need to do this either. Like, who was clamoring for a Brock Lesnar match? If he hadn't come out, would we have thought the Cena retirement tour would be incomplete without a Brock Lesnar feud? No. He was set to return at the Royal Rumble just before WrestleMania 40. Did you look at that Royal Rumble or the following WrestleMania 40 or any event since and thought, man, you know what this thing could have used? Really could have used some Suplex City and a Brock Lesnar match. No, not a chance. Allegations aside, just from an enjoyment of watching wrestling on television, I didn't want that guy back. I was quite a bit happier without Brock Lesnar as a active member of a wrestling television show that I happen to watch regularly. I was really cool with that not happening again. And like, you look at this most recent weekend, they did 2 nights of SummerSlam, and still a bunch of talent didn't get onto the show. There is no need for him to come in here. There is nothing exciting about him having a match with John Cena in 2025 or him having a match with anybody else. I like, creatively, whatever, this sucks. I'm not excited about this. If the allegations weren't there and that music would have hit, I still probably would have been like, all right, well, like, music's cool at least. Like, you would at least maybe have something there, but no, like, I am not excited about this at all. Like, think of how many other people we would have been so much more excited about if their music would have hit or they would have done any kind of a stare down or anything. Like, you probably wouldn't have had the music hitting for these guys, but like, to do it on Raw today or something like that, having Braun Breaker come out and challenge him, and I still think that's where this is going to all end up, but to do this is, like, to have Braun Breaker come out and challenge him, great. Obafemi up from NXT, do that. I would have had, if the music would have hit and Mr. Iguana came from the front row and came in and challenged John Cena, better reaction than Brock Lesnar coming out. Like, there's just, obviously that one's hilarious, but so many other things would have been better just from a wrestling standpoint than that shit that we got on Sunday night. So if you want to put all that aside, and I don't, but even if you did, wrestling wise, we didn't need this. We don't need this at all. This company was on a really good run for a while there. It has wobbled a little bit, and now this screams a trip back to the old booking that everyone was so excited to get away from. Brock Lesnar's last WrestleMania match was against Omos. Who's clamoring for this to happen again? Like AJ Druid says in the chat, Trick Williams coming out and attacking. Sure, just something. You want to establish anyone else and do this. Fine. But I don't think this retirement tour needed it. I don't think this wrestling program needed it. I don't think wrestling fans needed it. And honestly, I genuinely think that there are a lot of people who are doing the innocent until proven guilty stuff that would agree with me under normal circumstances. But for some reason, people like Brock Lesnar, who get placed in these high things and then have allegations against them, end up being martyrs in this weird way. And I will never understand it. And so this is where I guess some like personal accountability or anything like that comes in. Because the frustrating thing is, I'm saying all these things and I don't think a lot's going to change, right? Like I'm not going to stop watching WWE. I'm not going to cancel Netflix over this. I'm not going to stop covering WWE. I think the tone will probably change, but I'm not going to stop covering WWE. I'm not going to go to any WWE shows, certainly not ones that Brock Lesnar is on, but it's probably going to be a while before I go to another WWE show again. But I also hadn't been to one in a while, so I don't think that's really affecting them all that much. And really, like, none of it would. They're setting, they just had 100,000 people in New York over a couple of nights in August. And obviously those numbers can be fudged a little bit, but still, they're setting gate records all around the world. So me just being like, well, you know what? I'm not watching anymore. You know, like, that's not going to do a whole lot to them. They're not falling to their knees. No. So I understand kind of the place of us right now. So it is a little bit frustrating that you can just like yell and scream and stomp your feet all you want. They're going to do what they're going to do. And like, look, at the end of the day, I can't tell anyone how to feel. I can't tell you what to feel or anything like that. Can't tell you how to watch anything. My hope from my content has always been, let's have some conversations, hopefully have some fun while we do it, and maybe you learn something along the way. If that changes an opinion or two, neat. If not, neat. Like I don't think we need to change the world here. And I'm not coming out here trying to do like a Jedi, like you will believe what I believe. I understand. The world's divided and not everyone thinks the way that I think. So I'm not trying to change minds here. I'm just wanting to have the conversation and just telling you why I think this fucking sucks, basically. So I understand that if you can look past all the stuff we read about Brock Lesnar with Janel Grant, and you can still hear the music play and be like, F and F yeah, man. Let's watch Brock Lesnar do 4 moves and get really excited about it. Then I'm probably not going to change your mind on all of this. But there's nothing I can really do. The one thing I will say, and we have Toxic in the chat, who, by the way, hi Toxic. I didn't say hello before because I'm ranting. But the one thing I will say, I've said this in the past era of WWE, and hey, look at it coming up once again. And a lot of it had to center around Brock Lesnar, actually. Support what you like as a pro wrestling fan. If you are a diehard Cody Rhodes fan, then by God, be a diehard Cody Rhodes fan. But if you're watching WWE just out of habit, because I am a wrestling fan who has watched on Mondays for forever, do I love the product? Whatever, but it's wrestling, so I'm watching it. Try something else, maybe. There is so much out there. Go to local shows. There's a lot of great indie talent across Canada, across North America, across the world. Go to those shows. As Toxic is saying, watch AEW. He's saying to me, cover AEW. I tend to kind of fall off on the one that isn't in the pay-per-view cycle, but AEW coverage does need to be more regular here. I will fully admit that, and it absolutely will be. But yeah, watch AEW. Watch TNA. There's great stuff happening there. Watch Ring of Honor. They had one of the matches of the year a couple of weeks ago. Watch that. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Bit of a lull right now, but they have the greatest tournament in professional wrestling happening with the G1. There is so much wrestling out there that if you're just watching WWE for wrestling's sake, I would implore you to try something else. But again, if you love WWE, then just go for it. Whatever. All I am saying is there's enough wrestling, enough very good wrestling out there that if you don't like something, don't watch it. And if you do like something, really dive in and give that a chance. Give other wrestling a chance. Explore some things. Like the availability of pro wrestling now is incredible. You can get, like, even if you don't want to sign up for another streaming service, Stardom puts a ton of their matches up online. AAA throws a ton of their stuff up on YouTube. Same thing with CMLL. I think New Japan kind of does. Like there's a lot that is out there that you can go and try to dive in on. And look, like if you hate this but you still want to watch WWE, instead of giving them a view on Netflix, head to a bar that's showing the show, right? Like Calgary example, but Muggs is showing WWE events. They had SummerSlam on after the wrestling event. Seemed like a great atmosphere there. I wasn't able to stay, but people were amped up about it, and it seemed like a great atmosphere. So you still get your wrestling. You are at a place that would be showing it to quite a few people anyway, and you're out here supporting a local business. So if you want to still watch your WWE, but feel a little icky about it based on events, then fine. Just maybe try to find other ways. And again, if none of your habits change, then I can't. That's fine by me too. I'm not trying to tell you how to do this, how to do that, how to behave, how to do anything. All I am simply just out here, just maybe give a look at some of these other things also. And if nothing else, just be a shill for myself for a second, if you just want to use me as the, well, he's watching it so I don't have to guy, I will gladly fall on that sword for all of you there. When Hulk Hogan passed away, there was a lot of people who got upset at the coverage, saying that without Hulk Hogan, wrestling wouldn't be where it is today. They said that wrestling was doing fine without him, and that wrestling is more than just the WWE and the WWF timeline. While I may disagree on the Hulk Hogan overall impact on the industry part, one thing I will absolutely agree on as a wrestling fan is that wrestling is a whole lot more than the WWE, and it's events like this that make me very happy that that's the case. And it is also events like this that we need to remind ourselves that there's a lot more out there to go dive into. So those are my thoughts on the ickiness of the Brock Lesnar situation.